welcome to episode 21 of the Webcomic Beacon Presents First Issue.
I'm Marcus.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Fes. We've been doing this. This is. We're almost going to be midway with this batch, and
Thank God.
Unfortunately, there's only like 9 episodes currently on the site because it takes longer to edit than I thought. But that won't stop us. No, never.
You silly man.
Oh dear.
This week, this day, we're going to be taking a look at Green Lantern #1 from DC Comics. Aside from Batman and Superman, I'm going to know Green Lantern, especially since the movie came out. A lot of people are going to know a bit about Green Lantern.
Yeah, the
enough.
movie everyone saw that made so much money.
The basic idea is that, okay, there's this guy with superpowers and he's green and he gets this ring. So we're going to know a few things already. One thing I do remember is, well, the cover has a character on it that I have heard of before.
Snidely Whiplash, hell yeah.
Yeah, but as far as like what the hell he did, I don't remember. I just know that there was this red guy.
All I remember is that at the end in the stinger he got a yellow ring, even though he didn't seem nearly as evil as he should to want to take it.
What does the yellow ring have to do with this?
Well, we'll find out when we open it up. His name is Sinestro, and there is a group here called the Sinestro Corps, all of whom wear yellow rings.
Do you not remember the Super Friends? Come on.
But this isn't #1. I don't remember anything other than green.
I'm talking about what's inside. What's inside here.
Sinestro was part of the Legion of
there.
Doom.
Was he?
Yeah.
I barely remember that.
Yeah, he's a guy no one cared about, just like Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have this cover, which is, it's very green. But it's got this cool purple background, so it's not incredibly overwhelmingly green. Yeah. And we got this red guy up front.
What do you have against green?
I'm pointing this out to bring up in a later episode.
That's weird.
So this will be a reference point for a future flashback. So we have this cover. What do you guys think of the cover?
It works. I mean, like to me, the impression that it gives me is, hey, you saw the movie? Remember this jackass from the Green Lantern Corps who was sort of a dick to the main character? Fuck yeah, we're starting with that.
Hey, look, it's a Sinestro. What's he doing in the Green Lantern outfit? Let's open it up and find out.
Yeah, that's how two different people.
Yeah, but that's also, for a new-time reader's not going to think that.
Oh, it just means, hey, Green Lantern, there's the logo.
There's a red
it works well enough
to
be
dude
like,
in the suit.
Green Lantern, all right.
Let's go.
So we start off with, it looks like an enchantment or something like that, powering the Green Lantern. I'm going to start up. You can kind of get a gist from the first page. And then we see the second page. He's chained up.
Yeah, he's
with a bunch of these little cute little dolls floating around here with blue faces and heads.
Yeah, come on, you saw the movie.
Cute.
And I'm going to point out that there's a chain link that's not linked. It's kind of sitting within a link. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
This link is just going to slide right out. I the
engineering
isn't
on
quite
that is
perfect,
unfortunate.
Well, I do know that the Green Lantern's power is powered by imagination and willpower.
It's the Grunkalunkas who put it together, though.
So it takes some great imagination to think that would hold in place.
Yeah. Well, apparently
it works, man.
Apparently it does because, hey, he's not getting out, is he? He's sitting there saying the little, Nazi anthem that they want him to, and they're like, that's right. Say it! Pretend you're one of us! I hate you! You will be one of us! Okay, fine, whatever. You redeem yourself if you do well for us. I don't really like you. Well...
So, basically, okay, from what I'm gleaning from this is that this is sort of like... as far as what I remember and gleaning from the comic, I guess there's supposed to be like some sort of self-appointed universe guardian group. And and this guy's daring to think differently.
They're always like that. That's
and
it doesn't even matter if you knew them before or not. They never behave any differently. So, a brand new reader, this is what you're gonna have to get used to if you really want to get into Green Lantern. They're always like this, and they will never change.
So anyway, they go on our minds must be one. So either they're killing him or they're sinking their brains.
Come on, whatever.
So anyway, we got Hal Jordan on this next page with a table full of bills, and I guess his landlord expecting he's going to get some money, despite seeing all these past due bills on the table.
Yeah. Oh, he's basically just making it clear, hey, if you don't pay me, I'm evicting you today. It's like, I was a superhero once, but I can't tell you. He's like, look, you gotta do, hey, There's a woman being choked over there. I have to stop it. These bills can wait.
I'm really entertained by the fact that he's pulling this Jackie Chan shit, and he doesn't have his power ring. He's just a regular guy, and yet he leaps out of a building.
Oh yeah.
Crashes through a window.
And it turns out,
you know,
which I actually kind of liked.
Oh.
I kind of liked that scene. It was like,
that's right, spoilers.
Yeah, we need to be careful. Damn.
Yeah, because at this point, it was like, I already knew that Hal Jordan was, because I remember some of, like, the old cartoons, was...
He looks a lot, he was like 40 years younger than he did even in the 60s.
Yeah, but I was thinking, this is number one. This is supposed to be, maybe this is before he becomes a Green Lantern. And this is, like, one of the things that show, oh, man, he's a true blue hero
that's
sort of thing.
That's what I had hoped, too, when I was reading this, until I realized... started to read the actual dialogue, and it's not quite what's going on.
Yep, and it turns out he used to be a Green Lantern, and he was off planet for a long time, and this one girl knows, and so...
And she has a ring, I guess, or something.
Well, yeah.
What?
She mentions I haven't put on my sapphire ring either.
Yeah, that's Sapphire ring.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that the character Star Sapphire. She mentions it in passing. It's not important to know.
It's not important, really.
It's not important to know if you're a first-time reader. It's just it's kind of a passing reference. But that's who she is.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that makes another comic I read later make a little more sense, but not much.
Yeah.
But I gotta hand it to this comic for keeping some past continuity. They do a pretty good job of launching you off from the get-go. If you are a first-time reader of Green Lantern, they do cover the backstory pretty well. They give you what you need to know. It doesn't feel tacked on, and and then they continue with the story.
And I certainly agree.
It's all right.
The only problem is for me looking at this as a new reader, because I've never been into Green Lantern. All of this is pretty much new to me, other than the idea that there are multiple colored cores. I kind of knew that, but not any specifics. But when reading this, I'm like, okay, everything you're talking about sounds infinitely more interesting than the book I have in my hands. And you're like, okay, so I was a Green Lantern, I was off planet for years. I'm like, why aren't I reading that? God damn, that sounds cool. And then it's like, yeah.
But the thing is, they do set up... this whole issue is essentially set up for everything that's coming afterward. And it is a nice setup. You have the villain... coming back and in a very odd position, and you have the former hero in a very odd position, and these
very
two
Peter Parker
lines
position.
cross. Yeah. And it's a very interesting setup, and I must admit I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
Yeah,
but it is all set up.
So we have the Sinestro Green Lantern character who is taking a look at a planet, which we later find out it was his home planet. Yeah. There's a bunch of yellow lanterns there, and they're enslaved the planet, I suppose. And then he gets caught, and
he ends up killing one, which was one of the coolest uses of the Green Lantern power I've seen in a while, where he makes a garrote out of it. So I thought was actually pretty awesome. And then when the person dies, this horrible alien he kills, the ring refers to the Sinestro Corps. It says the Sinestro Corps member was slain, whatever number he was, 435, I think.
Right.
So, that character is definitely like, oh shit, he used to lead these guys.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting, and he blows up this thing, and we have kind of this foreboding sort of image where you get the idea that he's going to go down there and possibly just massacre all these people. So it took him no effort whatsoever to kill this fucking giant. So he seems to go off, but...
he goes off because there's like a bunch of like little yellow things coming up off the planet, so maybe he can't handle all of them, of course. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, and then more...
then we get back to Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan playing Peter Parker.
He's at a diner with this lady, I think was from earlier, and then we see how much of an asshole he is. They're on a date, and then he asks if she could... co-sign for a loan. It was like, wow, really?
Yep. She thought he was going to propose, and that was a very big issue. That's why she's...
Well, I gleaned that it was that sort of an issue, but I also didn't see much of what their relationship was. It didn't seem like...
I thought they were colleagues, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it didn't seem like... What?
I mean, I understand that he was a dude with a ring and she was a chick with a ring, so obviously they're love interests. But that's on a metatextual level. That's the only thing that would have given me the impression that they were together. But
and then you start maybe feeling a little bad for him, but then because she's like, Carol, wait. And then it says, you drove me. It's like, oh, no, so like, not, I'm sorry or anything? It's
You've flown across the universe, you can walk to
Oh, you know who he is? He's a grown-ass Scott Pilgrim. Because he is irresponsible as fuck and doesn't seem to understand that, hey, guess what? People don't like it when you use them. you can't just, like, say, hey, wait a second, the logistics of the situation don't benefit me. You must come back. And then he's just like, whatever. And then the red dude is like,
Spoilers.
Is this...
Spoilers.
Is this a
Is that
spoiler?
really a spoiler?
Oh, that is a big fucking spoiler. Come on.
Not really. I mean, he's already said, man, fuck you guys, I don't want to be a Green Lantern no more. And they're like,
Yeah,
be a Green
but
Lantern.
the fact that he... Big fucking spoiler. Come on.
Okay, fine.
All right. So, anyway, so we have Hal Jordan being all down on his luck, and all like his face is all darkened because it's like, oh,
sad.
Just it's just really shitty.
Scott Pilgrim's back.
But, however, comic, you didn't make us identify with the character. You didn't make us feel for the character. You made it. He's like, you know what? That's what happens. Douchebag.
Well, particularly considering the other characters acknowledge this. It's not like the other characters are clueless to the fact that he's being a piece of shit. You know,
Right.
They aren't being accommodating. They behave like normal people would, surrounded by this guy. So as a result, we're kind of like, bah, fuck you, man.
Yep.
Unless you have an emotional attachment to the character of Hal Jordan because he was the one character you randomly decided to identify with when you watched Super Friends.
Right.
Like Jeff Johns did. But that's the only way that you kind of care at this point.
Yeah, and at the end, an opportunity arises for Jordan, and as far as the new reader's concerned, I think we're going to be a lot more confused than we are going to be gathering what's going on. We're obviously not... The average reader's not going to be rooting for Hal Jordan at this point.
No, you're kind of... I mean, I
think the storyline's clear.
Yeah.
I think... I would question whether people would be invested in this story.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think it is clear storytelling. I'm personally quite interested to see where they go with it.
This I mean, okay, maybe that's the problem. I'm thinking that this comic is supposed to be about Hal Jordan. It's not. It's about Sinestro, which I was...
Of course, if you look at the cover...
It's like I always said, you have the movies, Hal Jordan. I remember Hal Jordan from the cartoons. It's like, so I guess I was thinking that Hal Jordan is supposed to be the main... That was probably my problem. My mistake.
Probably mine, too.
I was... So I guess it makes the comic make a little bit more sense.
Sinestro's on the cover.
True, but Hal Jordan.
Yeah. I mean, you tend to think...
But it's not... The comic's not called Hal Jordan. It's called Green Lantern.
That is true.
Which is the core.
Which is true. Well, there's a Green Lantern core as a separate book.
Which is going to be confusing, I suppose, maybe when we get to that. But overall, I guess with that enlightenment, like just now, it's like...
suddenly it makes a lot more sense.
It makes a lot more sense.
I think you probably take back like half of our criticisms, actually. It's like, wait a second, it is about Sinestro. Fuck! We were totally going about this the wrong way, because it's like, wait, we're trying to get invested in the tale of this puny human when the cover tells us Sinestro. You open it up, Sinestro.
Right.
Who has the actual, like, dilemma?
Yeah.
Who has the actual ring that makes himself a Green Lantern? Sinestro. Wait a second. I think we were going about this already.
Still, I think maybe there's also a little bit too much of Hal Jordan in here, which kind of throws a little bit of a confusion.
Well, actually, I think they're setting up to be a road buddy movie.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, the guy that
this is going to be like putting was it Green Arrow and Green Lantern?
Yeah, when they used to hang out
in a road trip across the U.S. to discover America.
Yeah,
that would be a comic I'd look into.
We'll go back to the 70s.
I'm hoping for that. Jeff Johns.
No, an actual road trip sort of thing.
Oh, road trip.
Them both driving in a car, just like having misadventures along the way.
A glowing green car.
Yeah, that sounds more interesting.
That would be hot. Let's totally watch that.
However, even with my enlightenment of this, I still have to give it a meh because as a new reader, I was confused. Mm-hmm. With a little bit of background as sort of a new reader, I was confused. It seemed to be like I was missing a really big backstory.
Which you were.
And technically I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because of Jeff Johns, apparently.
Well, there's not really much of a reboot happening
here.
Who
didn't really want to reboot and put a number 1 on the issue.
Mm-hmm.
which goes into something else we will talk about in a future episode. But that's my opinion.
All right. You say?
I say it succeeds. Personally, I'm interested to see where it goes from here. I don't think it's the strongest #1 issue I've ever seen, but I'm interested in the setup. I'd say it's halfway decent, and even though they are keeping backstory, the important points are hit during the course of the narrative, and they don't seem tacked on. I think it does a pretty good job of starting you off fresh.
Yeah. I'd give it a succeeds as well. Just after kind of realizing, holy shit, this is more of a Sinestro book. I was going to give it a meh, but that kind of tipped the difference for me. Simply because I find Sinestro to be a far more interesting character, and he was probably the best thing about the Green Lantern movie. So if your experience with Green Lantern is coming off of that film, this might work out for you, because granted they keep a lot of that old continuity, but really he's in the same place that he was during most of that film. The after credits piece notwithstanding. This is essentially where he had been, where it's like, hey, I'm kind of the asshole dude hanging out with the rest of the Green Lanterns. I may turn evil one day. I might just be kind of a rogue. But let's see what he does. So that's kind of what it seems like to me. And that's what you're kind of going for. And you liked Sinestro from the Green Lantern film, absolutely pick this up.
And that was Green Lantern #1 from DC Comics.